Hey, this is Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, and you are listening to the ghost host, Sophia Temperilli, on liveparanormal.com.
Today we celebrate the re-grand opening of the infamously haunted Brookdale Lodge with location Santa Cruz Ghost Haunted Tours, founders, and team paranormal investigators with Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters, MARYANNE Porter, Timothy Lowe, and from the UK, American supernatural filmmaker and paranormal researcher Don Phillips. Everyone visit SantaCruzGhostHunters.com, Twitter @SCGH Paranormal, Facebook group Brookdale Lodge Mysteries Explored, MARYANNE Porter's book, Amazon.com, Haunted Santa Cruz, California, YouTube and SoundCloud, Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters. And for Don Phillips, AmericanSupernatural.com, Phenomena Project.tv, Facebook Don Phillips, Twitter @Circa Spiritus, and YouTube Don Phillips. Let's welcome them into the show.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Hey Tim, thank you for coming on today.
Oh, well, thank you. We're trying to get through the technical difficulties, but I think we got it.
To start off, can you tell us how you started and founded Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters and how you first connected with the owner of the Brookdale Lodge?
Well, Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters was started in about 2010 officially. It started out as friends just going ghost hunting to find out if really existed. And lo and behold, our first EVP, we were on board. And we've taken off ever since to a team where we have about 6 of us now. And with the Brookdale Lodge, after it got purchased by Father Hotel, I drove up there and said, hey, I'm MARYANNE with Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters. And he was like, Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters? We thought, oh, bring that here. Bring that to the lodge. We need that here.
Yeah, I mean, the Brookdale Lodge has been on Ghost Adventures and so many shows and appearances like that. It's such an iconic location, and that's really amazing that you were able to start tours there and work out a way to bring more information about the history and the history that's still there regarding the ghosts of the Brookdale Lodge.
Documentary filmmaker and paranormal investigator Don Phillips has made a name for himself tracking ghosts. He's spent the past few days in Brookdale looking to make a documentary about the lodge, traveling over 5,000 miles off rumors of the paranormal. But walk inside today and you'll understand why some say it's now home to ghouls and goblins.
It's steeped in histories and mysteries and everything else, and I guess we're just trying to tear back the layers, dig a little bit deeper, sort fact from fiction and everything.
Hi.
Hi Don, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
How did you Don start making a documentary about the Brookdale Lodge being based in England? How did you find out about it and how did that all come about?
Well, I've been doing a lot of work in the UK for a long time, but my interest, I've always had a lot of interest in the American scene, so I decided to sort of focus my work in America. Obviously I did the Seattle coast first. Then I got to know Maury, the Santa Cruz guys, over Facebook, and then I got to learn about the lodge and everything, and it kind of went from there. I told them I'm making I make documentaries, invited me over there, and 5,000 miles later, we've got a pretty good documentary.
It's so amazing that you were able to work together to build this documentary and so everyone can learn more about the history and everything that happened. And I think that's really cool that you were able to kind of do that, start figuring it out from a different country even, and then putting it together. And it definitely is such an amazing documentary.
Well, I've got to say as well, the Santa Cruz guys are absolutely fantastic. I felt a little bit reserved because I'd never actually met them until I actually met them, And generally, I don't tend to work in teams. My work in the UK mainly, I work with parapsychological departments. They call me on cases of certain things, talents, or whatever you want to call it, that I do. So when I went over there and actually met Maury and the team, it was absolutely fantastic. And the Brookdale Lodge is absolutely unique. I mean, I had no idea at that time how much was speculation, overactive imaginations. Is it really haunted? You know, but it certainly did live up to its reputation. We had a hell of a time.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing. I remember my parents talking about the Brookdale Lodge ever since I was very young, and you know, they were very sad when it closed down and ultimately caught on fire, but it's amazing to see it being restored, and it just is such an amazing location with such an amazing history.
It really is. It really is. It's an absolutely incredible location.
Working together, Don and the Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters, what was the most memorable experience that you captured while together?
I don't know. I don't think I could actually nail that down to one experience, because it was pretty full on and non-stop after the first night. Actually, it was quite funny because the first night we arrived, everyone was excited, full of anticipation. And I got out of the car and I just said, guys, it's not going to happen tonight, because the energy was absolutely flat. And we got, it was cold, there was not a great deal happening. So I think everybody felt a little bit deflated, but the following nights after that, it was pretty full on all the time. The captures we got pretty incredible. But to try and nail it down to one particular event, I would struggle with that, because there's so much happening.
Yeah, I bet. You know, the Queen Mary, that's a location much like the Brookdale with so much history and so much you can capture there, and it's very hard to just pick one experience.
Yeah, I mean, the place is still full of emotion. The documentary, I want to capture the atmosphere of the place, the love of the place, the emotion of the place, you know, the events that have gone on before, the history. And I think we managed to do that pretty well, to be honest. I don't know, Maury, if that question was directed to you, what would you say would be the most memorable thing?
Oh, well, the history of the Brookdale Lodge is amazing. I mean, it goes from tragedies to good times to you name it. And I think when we were there doing the week documentary, we really did capture the ambience of the location. I think this documentary is going to be absolutely amazing when it's in its final product, and that was a really fun adventure, I must say.
And we're actually having proof now through Don and his work that there's certainly a lot of stuff going on up here as far as the spirits.
And Tim, I know you were a part of the Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters. Can you tell us, I know you were in the military, what has that been like, being able to take the skill set from being, you know, a part of the military and taking those skills and involving it into ghost hunting? Have you been able to kind of put those two together?
I think the best way to explain that is when you're in the military, it's all about regiment and having things in place and doing things sequential. So doing an investigation is kind of the same way. How do you approach it? Have we done our research? Do we have the information? And then how we're going to go ahead and set it up with the equipment that we have to go ahead and capture the best investigation that we can. So that's kind of my role, just kind of keeping things in check, and also going into those places where nobody else wants to go. So that's kind of where my military background was kind of taking me through this whole process.
Well, thank you for your service, by the way, and
That's really amazing that you are able.
No problem. It's really amazing that you're able to bring those two together. It's so cool that I find that there's so many things in life that you learn that you're able to apply to investigations, and I just find it very fascinating. You never know what you'll learn in life that you can take into an investigation with you.
Oh, we try and tell people that all the time. I mean, our life is experiences that get us to where we are now, and that's kind of why we're ghost hunting. All the things that we've experienced and curiosities that come with that have led us to go ahead and form a team and investigate to find out what we can find out.
A lot of investigators use a lot of equipment, but one main thing is kind of what you sense and feel on your own. It's such a large part of what you can capture because you have natural instincts that will lead you in a direction to where activity might be occurring.
Yeah, I mean, Murray and Tim and everybody, they kind of heard about my reputation, what I do over here in the UK. I mean, Murray, I should admit, and rightly so, I was a little bit sceptical, but I think once I actually started working, and I could see the way that I work and the way that we started to get the results, I think I was quite taken aback. Would that be fair to say, Murray?
Yeah, actually, I was amazed at how Don had this unusual gift. And things, the entire week, everything just kind of happened systematically. I mean, we couldn't even script this as well as this happened. Don has something unusual that I have not encountered with other mediums or gifted persons. So this really added to the investigation, which made this an amazing time.
I know we have to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with more questions.
This is author Alexandra Holzer, and you're listening to ghost host Sophia Temperilli.
Hi, this is Jeff Belanger, host of 30 Odd Minutes, founder of GhostVillage.com, and author of lots of your favorite paranormal books, and you're listening to the ghost host, Sophia, on LiveParanormal.com. Boo! Hey, this is Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, and you are listening to the ghost host, Sophia Temperilli, on LiveParanormal.com.
Congratulations to the ghost host, Sophia Temperilli, for celebrating 7 years of broadcasting on LiveParanormal.com.
Thank you all for coming on today. It's been great talking to you guys.
You as well.
So, MARYANNE, we have an audio clip of the Brookdale Lodge owner, Parvin Patel, describing items that would be offered upon the opening of the location before 2018. I know that it is past when this audio clip was recorded, and you've since had a ribbon cutting, but let's play the audio clip to find out more about the Brookdale Lodge amenities.
The time frame for the opening, I haven't been able to stay by some of the dates that we were intending to open. The first phase would be the 46 hotel rooms, grocery store, maybe not the diner quite on the first phase, but the lobby and lobby bar before the first of the year. So end of this year, I would like to be able to open the first phase.
Can you tell us, Mari, a little bit about what has changed with the Brookdale Lodge since this clip was recorded?
So the Brookdale Lodge is currently open. You can rent a room there. The bar is open. The grocery store is now open. They did have a ribbon cutting ceremony recently, and a lot of people turned up to that. That was amazing. A nice celebration there. So phase 1 is pretty much complete. They can start working on phase 2, is my understanding.
We got to carry on, we got to move forward, and we've been getting a lot of support from the community because of, they're finally realizing how important this project is to the San Lorenzo Valley and Brookdale itself.
Were there certain roles that were divided for the actual filming of the documentary on the investigations?
So yeah, like I said, there's nothing staged, there's nothing rehearsed. It was very much on the fly as it rolled out, as it happened at the time. We just shot day by day. Every single day we had something different happening. So to be honest, it was quite an easy thing to film because there was nothing to remember. There was no lines, there was no rehearsals, and it was pretty full on. So it was a very easy thing to film. I was actually editing it because when I came back, I got so much. This could have easily been about 2.5, 3 hours worth, so I've actually kind of cut little bits and condensed it down. But all the time it was there, every time we was filming, there was something happening.
I also conducted a little bit of an investigation myself during this time, and as we worked together, we were getting activity together coming through, and like I had mentioned before, Dawn has something amazing gift that is very unique. I mean, the attraction to the spirits is unlike anything I've seen.
One of the familiar with this, it might sound a little bit strange to people that don't actually know me or haven't worked with me. I work very closely with a lady in spirit called Becky, Now, rather than just claim I've got this spirit person, a friend called Becky, the difference here is she actually answers questions for us. She did while we was at the lodge, and fortunately, everybody heard Becky as well, which kind of validated her existence, which is pretty unusual in itself. But you know, I was conferring with Becky quite a lot during the week. She's an integral part of what I do. She's very, very effective. And she was kind of part of the team, wasn't she, Maury? You know.
Yes, she was. I was amazed to hear her voice come through on EVP. I mean, that was wow. Yeah, loud and clear. I mean, just loud and clear.
Yeah, well, I mean that's pretty unusual in itself. But you know, Becky's been with me for quite a long time now, a few years, and I rely on Becky an awful lot. So I can ask him questions, can get information, and I think. I mean, that in itself was quite an eye-opener for Maury and Tim because, like I say, that's pretty unusual. But you know what? It's what I do.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the beginning, of course, we were a skeptic because we didn't know Dawn, you know, other than talking through emails and Facebook and whatnot. And I was so impressed with when I met him in person and what happened. I mean, like he had mentioned before, the first night was pretty dead at the Brookdale Lodge, and it was cold and it just wasn't active. And after that first night, the whole week it just sung. I mean, it was.
That's so amazing that you were able to, you know, connect with the other side and actually have someone help you with the investigations. I've had a lot of people with gifts on my show, and a lot of them have had similar experiences, and it's so amazing to see everyone's different stories with their experiences with spirit guides.
Yeah, I mean, it's like to try and keep the question short term. You know, when did I realise I've got this kind of things going on? I mean, treatment. I guess, I mean, my first is probably about 7 years of age, but that is a whole long story. That's kind of where I think it starts off.
And Mari, I know that you were saying that you were the historian for the documentary. For everyone who isn't familiar with the Brookdale Lodge, can you tell us a little bit about its history?
Sure. Well, the Brookdale Lodge pretty much got its start in the 1890s with Judge James Harvey Logan, the whole town. Brookdale. It actually went ahead in 1924, was officially the Brookdale Lodge over the Brook Room, sold to Dr. Camp, and this is what made it famous. We had everyone from Marilyn Monroe to James Dean to Clark Gable, Herbert Hoover, and many, many more come visit the lodge at one time or another. So and that's how it got world famous. I mean, people from Egypt, princesses, you name it, they were visiting. The haunted history derives from the legend of little Sarah Logan, a little girl who allegedly died in the creek. Now, I haven't been able to find in Santa Cruz County verification of a Sarah Logan. However, I did find it in Alameda, and Judge James Harvey Logan was affiliated to Alameda, and even the street right next door to the Brookdale Lodge is Alameda Street. So it makes you wonder what kind of ties these are. Then there's been many drownings in the Brookdale area in the rivers, because that was an area where people had swam and they didn't know how to swim. They'd fall off the ledge in the deep area, and another person jump in after them, and oh boy, by that time you got a mess. And you're talking, late 1800s and in the 1900s. There's talk about Al Capone, and I had actually talked to Al Capone's great niece, and she said it's very likely that he was, very likely that he did in fact go to the Brookdale Lodge. So that's another piece of history we can add to it.
I know we have another clip from the Brookdale Lodge owner, Mr. Patel, on the paranormal hauntings of it, so we will play that now.
Yep, we've experienced quite a bit of paranormal activity up here. A lot of the workers have indicated that unusual things have happened. Just an eerie feeling sometimes while they're working that someone's looking over their shoulder. We've actually had a couple of workers walk off the job because they got spooked. One of them was on a ladder, and he didn't feel comfortable being on the ladder with, some sort of eerie feeling. So he got off the ladder and said he was going to go to lunch, and then never came back. So we're still waiting for him. It's a long lunch. Yeah.
Well, that is so cool that, there have been reportings even by the workers, people who were just there not doing investigations. So, for anyone who's thinking about staying at the Brookdale Lodge anytime soon, you never know what you're going to see there. So I find that very interesting about the location. You can just be walking around and capture something that you never thought.
Indeed. And even Mr. Patel had told me about a bunch of cement that had been in one of the rooms that they were doing construction on, bags of cement, and these are heavy items, and some of them are moved, and he asked all the employees, hey, did you guys move this stuff? Did you guys move this stuff? And no one else had moved it. So it was like, well, what is really going on here? Yeah, there's been quite a few different reported stories, especially while it was under construction, and now that they're going into phase 2, I'm sure there's going to be plenty more.
Well, that's very cool. And Mari, I know that besides working with Santa Cruz Ghost Hunters, you also wrote a book called Haunted Santa Cruz. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you started developing the book?
Sure. I actually was approached by Arcadia Publishing, who asked me if I'd write the book for them for their Haunted America series. I felt very honored to do so. The book is based on Santa Cruz County, a lot of its hauntings, not all of them. We're actually coming out with I'm actually coming out with another book, but it covers the Brookdale Lodge. It covers Holy Cross Church. It covers, oh my gosh, it covers serial killers. You name it. There's a lot of stories regarding Santa Cruz. And it was a lot of history that I had to look up, confirm, and I went and dug really deep. So this was just not off the surface that everybody knows kind of history. This was really dug in deep to find more information on these different locations in Santa Cruz County, and it seems to be a pretty good success. I'm pleased.
Definitely. And where can everyone go out and buy the book?
My understanding right now, it's on Amazon, it's at Barnes & Noble, it's at Costco in Santa Cruz, it's at Bookshop Santa Cruz, it's at Kelly's, it's at Ace Hardware, and other participating stores.
Well, very cool, and congratulations on the release of the book.
Thank you.
So I know we're coming towards the end of the show, but what's next for the Brookdale Lodge, and what's next for both of you? Is there any websites, upcoming interviews, or events that either of you would like to mention?
Well, let me mention for the Brookdale Lodge, what's next is coming is Phase 2, which will consist of the rebuild or remodel of the Brook Room, the remodel of the Pool Room, the remodel of the Mermaid Room, and the Fireside Lounge. Hopefully that will get done within next summer, but you know how things go, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. With Don, we're looking forward to his return and going on a Bigfoot adventure.
Wow. Yeah.
And Don, you got anything to add to that?
Oh, you know what, Maury? I'm sure it'll be full of surprises. When we kind of work with you, like I say, I expect the unexpected because there's nothing generic in what we do. Is there what we actually pull out? So
right.
I mean, the Brookdale documentary. I think people find it is pretty unique. The way that we filmed it, the way it's been put together, the evidence. I mean, it's about digging in to the past to find answers rather than just reporting on what's commonly already been mentioned or believed. We actually went a little bit further, didn't we? To see
I agree, and I think we found information that people aren't really familiar with.
Yeah, we got new information, so we've got good evidence, we've got new information. I think it's very successful. I think people are going to enjoy it.
I agree.
Well, I want to thank you both so much for coming on today, and thank you to Tim as well. Hopefully I will be able to meet all of you in the future, and thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Definitely. Everyone was so amazing to talk to, and hopefully I will be able to visit the Brookdale Lodge very soon. I want to thank you all for listening today. The show definitely would not be possible without all of you, and I will talk to you guys again next week. Bye.
Hey, this is Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures, and you are listening to the ghost host, Sophia Temperilli, on LiveParanormal.com.